All right, guys, for this next part, these next two questions, you are going to have to use a graphing calculator and to sketch the graph. So I'm going to go to my x cubed and be right arrow plus my 8x squared plus 16x plus 7. Alright, and then I have y equals 0 here. I'm just going to turn this off. So I'm just going to unhighlight it. Yep, so that's the only one. So we're going to hit graph here. Alright, so they want us to sketch this graph. It looks like we have a 0. Make sure I did that right. Yep. Alright, so it looks like we have a 0 at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little bit over 5. Alright, so let me minimize this here. I think because our increment's a little wider here, you're going to see more. So, I have this up here. Go here. So it's going to go, yeah, looks like it's going through here. Sorry. Turning, coming through, turn, and then it goes through the y-intercept like that. Alright, so, and then after you have graphed it, you're going to answer the questions, the key characteristics of the graph. So your domain is your x value. So because this keeps going and going and going, this one is all real numbers, which will be the case whenever we have a cubic. Our ranges, your y values, again, this is all real numbers. Now to find our maximum, this is when we have to go to our calculator and hit second trace. And then the minimum, we hit 3, min and max. So let's do minimum first. It's going to ask down here for the left bound. So I can see the minimum is down here. So I need to move my cursor. See, it's moving to where the minimum is, but it wants us to be left of that. So I want to be on the left of the curve. Then hit enter. And then move the cursor to the right of that turning point, that curve. Hit enter, and then hit enter one more time. And we have a minimum at a negative 1.3 and 2 point, I'm going to round that to 5. So we're going to round to the nearest tenth here. So we'll have our minimum. Sorry. Oh, go here. Negative, I'll have to put that in red. Sorry. 1.3 comma negative 2.5. And then to do our max, we're going to go to that same calculator, hit second trace, but now we're going to pick 4 for the max. The max is this turning point up here, so I need to move my cursor so it is to the left of that turning point, like to that max, my max. I'm going to hit enter, then move my cursor to the right of that max. Enter again, enter one more time, and then I can see this is about a 4, negative 4 comma 7 here. So we're going to go ahead and put negative 4 comma 7. Alright, so then for our end behavior, this is when we're looking at our arrows here, how it starts and how it ends. It's starting down, so that's negative infinity. Oops, I don't know if you can see that. So as x, and then it ends, sorry, up here, up, so that's positive infinity. So x approaches positive infinity on the x-axis. Positive infinity is the right side of the graph. So this would be a positive because it's going to be arrow up, ends up. And then over here is the negative infinity, the left side of the graph. So this would be negative infinity. All right, and then it wants us to read the intervals, the increasing interval and our decreasing interval. Now, I'm going to highlight this. So our increasing happens from this end behavior where it starts till it gets to that I hate when it does this. Sorry. Save it. Let me highlight better. There it goes. Okay. Till it gets to that turning point, which is the max. And it also increases from this minimum till it gets to that end behavior. So we have two increasing intervals. Your intervals, we got to get it from the graph. And you also have to focus on the x coordinates. Well, it's increasing. It starts at a negative infinity and it goes to this turning point, which is the max, which is that point here, the x, which is -4. But we have two, so you can say and, or you can just use your symbol for u, the union. So then it starts at this turning point, which is the minimum, right here, which is that -1.3. And it goes to that arrow to the end, which is a positive infinity. I need to rewrite that. That doesn't look so great. Oops. Sorry. Oh, did I lose it? All right. Sorry. Positive infinity. There we go. Sorry, guys. All right. And then the decreasing interval, where does it decrease? From this max. Oops. I meant to do a different color. From the max to the minimum. That's where it's decreasing. So our decreasing, remember we're using the x coordinate. So that x coordinate of the max is the -4. And then the x coordinate of the minimum is the -1.3. Okay, so if maybe sometimes labeling it on the graph might help you see things a little. That's kind of messy. Maybe not. But labeling on the graph might help you see things better. So I'll put it on here just in case. This one was, sorry, this point up here was -4, 7. And this point down here was -1.3, -2.5. So just kind of, I will give you a graph on your test. But then I will ask you to use your graphing calculator to actually sketch a graph and answer questions just like this, the same setup. There's no different than our homework, than our notes, than the things we've been doing at the beginning of this unit. So I do want you to do the next one, which is this one. Use your graphing calculator to fill in that part. All right, so that takes care of that section. And then now all we have is our last section. So let me do the video for that. Thanks, guys. Just hit the right arrow. Just hit the right arrow to fast forward if you're ready to go to the next section.